Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Group 6 and we will presentation about communicative approach. My name is HANIFA, my name 204260024 and I will explain about introduction of communicative approach. Check it out. We are from Group 6. We will explain about communicative approach. I am HANIFA RAHMAWATI and my friends DUWI, CITRA, NINGSIH, and then IRFAN, KHAIRUL, ANAM. Introduction. The worldwide demand for English has created a demand for quality language teaching. It has become an international language and has acquired such importance that the need to learn and master it has increased enormously. Learners set themselves high goals in learning it, and in turn, they expect teachers to provide excellent teaching. Richard, 2006. Methods have been drawn up based on the way of presenting the language, the sequencing and amount of focus on the various language skills, and the specification of learning activities. Normally, methods have also included a syllabus or teaching plan based on grammatical complexity and communicative usefulness. Horwitz, 2008. Communicative language teaching approach. 13H. Pasola 1994 defines communicative language teaching as a contextual and actual approach used to equip students to communicate in various classroom activities. In another sense, Hess M. 1999 states that communicative language teaching is a learning process which involves the various activities to do communication that take place in the classroom activity. The communicative approach puts the focus on the learner. It is the communicative needs of learners that provide the framework for the program in aiming for functional competence. Moreover, the socio-cultural differences in styles of learning are also a determinant for the program. Savignon 2002, Savignon 2002 cits Burns' summary of the 8 principles of CLT. 1. Language teaching is based on a view of language as communication. Through it, speakers make meaning and communicate for a specific purpose, whether orally or in writing. 2. Diversity is part of language development and use. 3. Competence is relative, not absolute. 4. Varieties of language can be used as models for learning and teaching. 5. Culture is a means for shaping speakers' communicative competence, both in the first and in subsequent language. Okay, next, 6. Various techniques and methodologies are allowed. 7. Language use serves to express ideas, interact with others, and understands and produce text, and is related to the progress of competence in each. 8. Learners should use the language in performing tasks for a variety of purposes throughout the learning process. Grammatical curricula, which were considered the traditional lesson formats of language teaching, focus more on the mastery of different items of grammar and practice through controlled activities such as memorization of dialects and theories, and toward the use of pair work activities, role plays, group work, and project work.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dwi Citra Ningsih. My name is 204200014. I will explanation about communicative approach, the point of communicative language teaching.
Communicative language teaching, where the organization of the activities seems complicated. Teaching stages have been included. Number 1. Reaching a consensus. Reaching a consensus point where the students have to agree with each other after a month of discussion. The task is not complete until the two students are given a situation are given. There are many occasions when we will ask students in groups to come to a consensus about things they are learning. Reading tasks may involve this kind of agreement. Students decide which is the correct answer together. Some vocabulary study involves reaching consensus about which meanings are correct or which word for comprehension work. Number 2. Discussion. Discussion means talk between people. A talk between two or more people about subject, usually to exchange ideas or reach a conclusion. Or talk of this kind. Many teachers can be heard complaining that their students have nothing to say. They complain, for example, that they have no opinions and are not prepared for discuss anything. Part of the problem here is the way in which some teachers approach discussion as an activity. If students are asked to express themselves fluently on a difficult topic in front of their peers in a foreign language, often no warning, they may find themselves reluctant to do so. Number 3. Relaying instruction. In this type of activity, students have to give each other instruction. The success of the activity depends on whether the student to whom instructions are being given performs the task successfully. In other words, where the instructions the right ones and where they understood. Number 4. Communication games. Communication games are based on the principle of information gap. Students are put into a situation in which they have to use all or any of the language the process to complete a game-like task. Number 5. Problem solving. Problem-solving activities encourage students to talk together to find a solution to a set of problems or tasks. Number 6. Talking about yourself. The students, they are often an underserved resource. In particular, we can use their lives and feelings for any number of interpersonal exchanges. Such activities fall into the humanistic category and are often useful at the beginning of classes to warm things up to create a good and positive atmosphere in new groups, which are a bit icebreakers. Finally, simulation and role play. The idea of simulation is to create the presence of the real situation in the classroom. Students simulate the real world. Thus, we can ask them to pretend that they are at an airport, or we might ask them to get together to plan an imaginary reunion. What we are trying to do are difficult, of course, to give students practice in the real world English. Thank you.
Hello, my name is IRFAN KHAIRUL ANAM. Okay, I will write my works. Theoretical development. The first theorist behind CLT is Noam Chomsky, 1957. 1965 who attacked behaviorist and structuralist view about language learning. According to him, new language is product in its utterance, correcting the belief that language is limited to structure. Rather, there were fixed set of principles and parameters from which an infinite number of linguistics from Harris, Grenfell, and Harris 1999. This meant that there was an underlying synthetic structure which allowed people to share a universal grammar. This deep structure is not affected by the variability of surface structure consisting of the different languages spoken in the world. Chomsky developed the notion of competence which he asserts was the goal of language learning. Competence, Harris defined as the formation of all possible generation structure in the mind, from which any one structural element, utterance, comes out as a product. The common name for the latter is performance, IBID. The practical active of small group discussion. It is necessary for the teacher of English to spend much time to think about the way that the teachers can act on their recommendation. To the extent that the teacher can meet the objective, the teacher will enhance communication skills that are valued in the classroom now. These skills are viewed favorably by employers in the future. Face-to-face interaction and advocacy. Students help each other learn. The teacher achieves the goal of assisting, encouraging, and supporting each other in learning by the way of the teacher structure their classroom setting. Students are more able to learn together when they face each other in small circles. Students also support each other in learning when they make a commitment to solve problems jointly through discussion and shared explanation.